Well, welcome back, everyone. I have to start with a story. My daughter, who lives in Chicago, calls me the other way and says, Dad, I got to tell you something. Our granddaughter, who's 3 years old, is sitting with her friend in the living room in Chicago, telling her how much she loves Lake George. So I got news for you. If you love that lake, it starts early and it stays with you your whole life. Joining me today is Walt Lender. He's the Executive Director of the Lake George Association. Welcome, Walt.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We always love to check in numerous times during the year just to talk about beautiful Lake George and the LGA and just things that people should be aware of. Let's start with this year. Good year?
It's been a good year on Lake George. It's been a very busy year as well.
Good.
To protect Lake George takes a lot of effort and takes a lot of people and a lot of funding. But this year it's been a good year. We've gotten a lot done for the lake. We've significantly reduced the amount of stormwater getting in. We're doing stormwater projects all over the lake. We did, unfortunately, during our lake-wide survey for invasive species, we did find some Asian clams in some new locations, though. So that's been a challenge for us this fall.
Yeah, I've got you. I've got it right. This fall you put down mats up at Rogers Rock, right?
We did, yeah. That was the new location that was discovered. Every year the lake organizations get together and they do a lake-wide survey, and unfortunately this year they found some new Asian clams up at the north end, which is unusual. Most of the Asian clam population is in the south, at the south end of the lake. But we took swift action. That's what you do with invasive species. You come in as quickly as you can, rapid response. And we put mats down on the entire length of the beach at Rogers Rock campsite, which is a public campsite. A lot of activity there in the summer. So we felt it was an important site to eradicate the Asian clams before they take hold, before they start impacting the public. About 2 acres of mats laying on the bottom of the lake, right there at the campsite, and they effectively deprive the clams of oxygen, so they die off.
I got it. The other one you hear about all the time is, of course, Eurasian milfoil.
Right, that's a big challenge for Lake
And
George.
you see that one cropping up. I was telling Walt before we went on that I spotted a new site in one of the places that we anchor, and we hand harvested it right away, which is actually an effective means. I do it around the dock too, hand harvest it. Under control?
Well,
Hard to say,
I think
right?
we're gaining ground.
Yeah.
We're in the second year of a 3-year program to really come on strong and hand harvest the milfoil lake-wide. So in a team effort between the Lake George Park Commission, the Fund for Lake George, and other municipalities, we are doing a major effort to hand harvest milfoil. Tons and tons of milfoil was removed from the lake in these past 2 years. And we hope that one more year of that level of activity will knock it back to a level that we can maintain it each year. So we would just have, instead of being on the lake with divers all year long, we would just go through and remove small
Like the patches,
outgrowth,
I guess?
small patches of it. That's our hope. I mean, it's going to take a lot for us to get there, but that's our goal right now.
Yeah, I've got it. You know, everything that we do impacts that lake. And that's a year-round proposition also. You mentioned something about stormwater management. There's stream management also, road salt issues as we go into the winter.
Yes.
You're on all of that, right?
We are. We absolutely are. We've been working with stormwater issues around the lake for many years. Salt has been an issue on Lake George, and it's an increasing concern for us. Nutrient runoff getting into the lake, fueling plant growth. Sediment comes in with stormwater, creates deltas at the mouths of brooks. So there's a lot that goes into stormwater management around Lake George, and we're trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, got you. Now, the weather, let's say fickle. Let's use that word, okay?
Right.
We've had some winters that have been very mild, even a winter in the recent past with no snow. Yet last year we had an abundance of snow. How does that impact the lake?
Well, there are positive impacts and negative impacts. I would say on the negative side, a lot of snow means a lot of salt being put down on the roads.
Yeah,
So the salt gets into the lake, it dissolves in stormwater, gets out into the lake. Our goal is to work with the municipalities around the lake to help them apply their salt more efficiently. We feel that if they do that more effectively, more efficiently, then we can reduce the amount of salt getting out into the lake water. But there are other things that are concerns with mild winters. If we have a winter without the cold temperatures, without a heavy ice cover, we might not be gaining as much ground on Asian clams as we were hoping to.
Yeah, right.
The heavy ice usually means that the Asian clam population gets knocked back over the course of the winter. So good and some positive and some negative things with the weather.
I want to talk about boat inspections. The another thing that you're very involved with
Absolutely,
at the
yes.
LGA. Pilot program for 2 years running. I think it ended last year.
It ended just a few weeks ago.
It did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, the Lake George Association, we did a boat steward program, which is a voluntary inspection program for about 6 years on Lake George. And then growing out of that became a permanent mandatory inspection and decontamination program, which is run by the Lake George Park Commission. They've got 2 years under their belt operating that program. Very well received by the general public. Boaters understand why this is happening, why their boats are being inspected and sometimes washed to keep invasive species from getting into the lake. We want to protect Lake George from any new invasives coming in here because honestly, maintaining the ones that we have right now and managing those is a very costly, very difficult job. So we don't want anything new coming in to have to add to that burden.
Now, overall, with the LGA, you're involved in these issues every single day. Overall health of the lake.
Lake George is rated AA special, which is the highest rating for lake water quality in New York State. It is a lake that is still used as a drinking water supply for municipalities, for individuals. So Lake George water quality is very, very good right now. The clarity is very good, but there are stressors on Lake George from development, from climate change, from invasive species. So we have to remain vigilant and constantly watch out for the lake and protect it at all costs.
Yeah, I know, Walt. I totally agree with you. And so is my granddaughter.
That's great. That's great.
You know what? If you're asking what you can do, the Lake George Association can always use donations, use help. Just think about where that money is going for us and for future generations to come. But also, if you're enjoying the lake yourself, be very cognizant of the impact that you have on the lake.
Yes.
I don't care what it is. If you're camping, carry in, carry out. Don't leave your trash, not even cigarette butts, If you're a boater, make sure your boat is inspected and that inspection is current.
And it's clean, drained, and dry.
Yeah, clean, drained, and dry, right? I've heard that. I heard that a number of times. Because the effort is being made in Walt's organization and a lot of the other organizations around the lake to maintain the pristine quality, this AA rating, which is so rare. What a crown jewel she is, right? This Queen of American Lakes.
Absolutely.
I guess you can tell I love it too. Well, Walt, very nice to have you in.
It's great
We're going to be checking with you throughout the year. I always want to make sure our viewers are up to date on what you guys are doing.
And we appreciate that very much.
And apparently for 130 years you've been
130
involved
years,
in
yes.
this. Have you been there for 130 years? No.
Sometimes it feels like it, but no, 10 years for me, 130 years for the organization, and it's just a great legacy that we're passing on down that we've been protecting Lake George for many generations.
You sure have. Well, happy holidays to you.
And same to you.
Okay, thanks. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, LookTVonline.com.